3 keeping a close eye on Art School. We're in the All-Ireland final. They're in the All-Ireland Post-Primary School Senior D Camogie final as they take on, I think it's St. Declan's Community College, Kilmacthomas. That game is in Johnstown and Tipperary.
Live match broadcasts in association with Supermax and the Plaza Group, proudly fueling GAA supporters at the Galway Plaza, the N17 Plaza in Tuam and the new Loughrea service station, where the best post-match analysis takes place.
They shall be underway. If not, they're very close to it. It's Galway and Tyrone in the Alliance National Football League. Your commentary team, Barry Cullinan. But first we'll say good afternoon to Ollie Turner.
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, a minute gone here in Tuam Stadium. No score, very windy conditions, very wintry and very similar to 2 weeks ago when Galway played Roscommon in Pearse Stadium. That turned into a rather forgettable afternoon for both spectators and for Galway, who ultimately lost 9 points to 8 and now sit on just 1 point from the draw match with Mayo in the opening round after their opening 2 games. So a certain amount of pressure on Galway to win this second successive home game as they take on a Tyrone team who won the toss and have elected to play into the wind. Up to our right hand side, they're attacking the scoreboard end. It's quite dark here in Tuam Stadium. We're expecting some heavy showers. There's a persistent drizzle, but the breeze really is going to be the big factor in this game, and it will lead to long bouts of hand passing and keep ball from the team playing into it. And on this occasion it is Tyrone, as ever, playing in their white jerseys and red shorts. The Red Hand County have brought a decent support here today, and there certainly is a good crowd in Tuam Stadium, and it's Tyrone who look to try and get their first score on the board, but a final pass to Darren McCurry has been picked off by the Galway defence, and coming out with the ball, tearing up the field, is Dylan McHugh. Nice ball off in turn now. Matthew Tierney, toe to hand. Tierney trying to get it onto the left, but decides instead to hand pass it off to Owen Finnerty. Finnerty back to Dylan McHugh. McHugh to Tierney, should be a score, and Matthew Tierney strokes it over the bar for a good opening point. We'll go through both lineups in a moment, but as ever, it's great to have Barry Cullinan with me on commentary. Conditions we could talk about as well, but I think we saw from Mayo last night, attitude plays such a huge part in how these National League games play out. Mayo were terrific last night in beating Kerry.
Yeah, they certainly were. They put in a big shift. You can talk about tactics or style of play or whatever it was, but from just looking at it on the television, the effort was 100%, and I think that's what any manager is looking for, be it Kevin McStay or Pádraig Joyce. But Galway showed good intent there. Jack Glynn, great turnover, and the battle between himself and Darren McCurry will be really interesting, or between Derek Canavan when he picks him up as well. But Galway carried the ball out well. You just hope that playing with the wind, they don't drop back too much and allow Tyrone attack is at will, and maybe squeeze a little bit more to try and get this. It's probably a 4 or 5 point wind in this, and you'd need that lead at half time to sustain it in the second half.
Well, there's a certain amount of pressure on the team with the breeze to take the game to the opposition, but of course Galway have to be careful as well in managing their opponents and the clock and not getting too rash in going forward. Tyrone, though, holding on to the ball since the kick out. They managed to get it away despite Galway putting on a hard press. That was something that annoyed Pádraig Joyce, and Tyrone have held the ball since, and there'll be quite a bit of this as Tyrone now go for a long up and under. This will end up in a mark if it's caught in the inside line. Ball dropped in though, fisted out the field, and that works out nicely for Killian McDade. So 2 attempts at a ball inside, both broken up by the Galway defence, and they'll be pretty happy with that. Of course, defensively Galway have been pretty solid, but scoring just 8 points against Roscommon was a disappointment, albeit in difficult conditions 2 Sundays ago. They'll hope for much better this afternoon. Not quite sure Galway are going to get to the 225 they managed the last time they played Tyrone here in Tuam Stadium in a 19 point mauling 3 years ago. Long ball in around the square, but this time it's easy for Tyrone to go up with the fist and clear the ball. I suppose that's the danger. Those balls that hang in the breeze, they're a backs ball all day long, Barry.
Yeah, and again it was Matthew Tierney. How often have we seen that in the first 2 league games? It was Matthew Tierney that drifted from his centre forward, wing forward position to the edge of the square, and a lovely ball in by Patrick Kelly, and great to see him back. I think the morning of the Roscommon game was one of the first training sessions he's had since the All-Ireland final with that back injury, so he's made terrific progress, and he's been one of Galway's most important players last year, so great to have him back.
We'll go through that Galway team because there are a few changes from 2 weeks ago. You mentioned Patrick Kelly, Barry, he's getting the start as well. We just watched Tyrone up the other end of the field as they work the ball up towards the 20 metre line. Conor Mailer plays it into the corner right underneath the scoreboard, but there's 3 Galway defenders forcing Cathal McShane back out the field. Also Niall Sludden is in there, and Tyrone just recycled the ball all the way back out the field to the 65-metre line, and they're happy to play keep ball. Just 1 point on the board in these opening 5 minutes in Tuam Stadium, as the Tyrone man looking to try and pick that one up very close to the ground. It's worked out though nicely here for Darragh Canavan. Canavan off the right, tried to curl it around, can't quite manage to do so, and it's out to the right hand side and wide. Referee just holding the game up for a moment as Peter Cook gets some running repairs. The match referee is Brendan Cawley. You'll have heard that name before. He refereed last year's All-Ireland semi-final between Galway and Derry, and also was the man in the middle for the opening round league game in Castlebar against Mayo. So Galway have Conor Gleeson in goals. He started the third league game. Owen Kelly, Sean Kelly, Jack Glynn, Dylan McHugh, John Daly and Daniel O'Flaherty. Midfield, Paul Conroy, Killian McDade. Then you have Matthew Tierney, Peter Cook, Johnny Heaney and Patrick Kelly, Owen Finnerty and Ian Burke. Fair to support Joyce. He's made a couple of changes at each round of the league. He's given lads a chance.
Yeah, he certainly has, and interesting the subs bench as well. We see Nathan Granger from Claregalway come in. Pádraig will have worked with him at under 20 level, and he'll know the exploits and what he can bring to the team. Matthew Barrish looks like he's come back in. Ryan Monaghan, and of course Rob Finnerty, back probably quicker than we expected. You know, we had heard that it was a 4 to 6 week injury, but obviously made terrific recovery, good medical assistance, and really good to have him on the bench, and hopefully he'll see some game time today.
Yeah, because that's it's only 3 weeks, isn't it? So like very quick powers of recovery from Robert. Now I'm not sure he's going to see any action today, but he is togged, so the fact that he's taken up one of the sub spots would suggest he is available to play at least some part of this game if need be. Of course, Galway are still without several players, including Damien Comer, who will miss the remainder of the league, but it remains 1 point to no score to Galway, and it's the tribesmen on the attack with possession in the middle of the field is Killian McDade. He goes for a lower ball in towards Patrick Kelly, but he's well beaten to it back there, and there's no doubt Tyrone's backs are on top for any of those balls that are kicked in. Niall Morgan is their ever-present goalkeeper. Michael McKernan, Cormac Munro and Pádraig Hampsey, the full-back line. Then it's Cormac Quinn, Peter Hart and Niall Devlin. In the middle of the field they've got Brian Kennedy and Frank Burns. Half-forward line of Conor Mailer, Con Kilpatrick and Niall Sludden. And then Darren McCurry, Cathal McShane and Darragh Canavan. Pretty much full strength Tyrone will be disappointed to have lost first time out to Roscommon, but they bounced back with a good win against Donegal last time round. So everybody's beating everybody in this league, Barry, the way it is. So even a win here today for Galway, 3 points out of 6 isn't actually too bad when you look at the overall scheme of things.
Yeah, absolutely. There doesn't seem to be any real line of consistency among any team frank in any form from the week before, and you know, probably you'd have to say at the moment the form team is Mayo.
Yeah, they've got 4 points, 2 draws and a win. So they're the unbeaten side in the league at the moment. Kerry having lost 2 out of 3. And a lot at stake here today, because one of these sides will jump above the other depending on the result. As Tyrone hold on to possession. There's just long bouts of the ball tippy-tappying left and right, and that's modern day football, and you really aren't missing anything. As Tyrone continue with possession, Conor Mailer out around the middle of the field, trying to skip past the challenge of Patrick Kelly. Gets it off to Peter Hart, thinking about a shot, but even from outside the D, it's too far out into the breeze. Darragh Canavan, back to McCurry. Again, Galway know that if they just form that arc, it's very difficult. Here's one dropped in around the house, and Gleeson with a brilliant touch. Not sure that should have been a free out, because he was really hit hard. But that was brave goalkeeping from Conor Gleeson. The ball dropped in fairness. When a ball is kicked in, as it was by Michael McKernan, he's fair game, the goalkeeper. In old money, that was a square ball all day long, but dropping right under the crossbar, he did the right thing, fisted it out towards the corner flag, but he took a right hit for his troubles.
Yeah, he did really well, because it looked like it was fairly deliberate by Michael McKernan. Dropped it across, and I think it was Con Fitzpatrick that came at pace, and you know, Conor Gleeson did really well. But also in that, again, I suppose we've spoken about Matthew Barrish going to full forward for some of Galway, or Matthew Tierney going to full forward for some of Galway's attacks. Tyrone are doing it in every attack. Brian Kennedy's going to full forward, looking for that long ball. Paul Conroy's having to follow him in.
So the 45 has been taken by Niall Morgan. If nothing else, it's going to kill about 60 seconds on the clock. So Morgan, right footed, is going to strike this one. Gets a great trajectory on it, in around the house and just to the left hand side and wide. In fairness to Conor Gleeson, He had his angles right and didn't try and catch it. Knew it was about a yard to the left-hand side. But again, the big net win here for Tyrone as the clock continues to run down. And we've only had 1 point in the opening half. And already we're coming up on 10 minutes. Galway now looking to try and double their advantage. Paul Conroy, hand pass into Ian Burke. Nice little sleight of hand back to Matthew Tierney. Tierney kicks it high, back off the post. And out to the right hand side and wide. Unlucky. Good snapshot. Nice move. Conroy to Burke to Tierney. Had the shot from 45 metres. Unlucky in that instance that it just tailed out to the right hand side. Galway definitely going to have to utilise that area around the 45 to kick some points as well to keep Tyrone honest, I suspect, Barry.
Yeah, they definitely are, and Matthew Tierney's probably as good a fella as we have. Paul Conroy try and get them on the ball. But Galway are certainly, when they can break the first line of Tyrone defence, they're definitely getting change out of going forward, and they are getting shots off goal at goal. But 10 minutes in, 1 point, they're going to have to be more economical.
So the kick out from Niall Morgan was caught by Paul Conroy in the middle of the field. He had the ball caught, and then just ploughing into the back of him was Frank Burns, and that meant that the referee then brought the ball forward 20 metres, and it's now a free just outside the 45 for Matthew Tierney. So Brian Kennedy was the culprit, in fact. Needless challenge into the back of Conroy, who had taken the mark, but from what would have been just a quick free for Galway, now it's a real scoring opportunity. He's pulled this one badly though to the right and wide. That's the second one. Okay, so you can definitely tell that the breeze, while it's directly behind him, is probably just tailing a little bit from left to right as well. But that's really one of those where if you get it online, Barry, it's going to carry all day long. You'd kick the ball 65 metres in this breeze. That's a poor miss.
Yeah, actually looking at the warm-up, Peter Cook was striking a lot of those sort of ones from 45, 50 metres, striking them really, really well. So when I saw the ball being brought forward, I thought he might be having a go at it. But look, Matthew Tierney was trusted with it, and hopefully he'll learn from that breeze. And, you know, when he gets one the next time, that'll be it'll help him, it'll aid in what he wants to do with it.
Tyrone, the happier of the two teams right now, would you think?
Yeah, we're 12 minutes in, 1 point to no score. Galway haven't looked overly threatening up top, but then again, neither have Tyrone. So if anyone came here today looking for a classic, I think the weather and the wind and the rain probably put paid to that about an hour ago.
No, there's an awful lot of people checking their phones, so obviously there's other stuff going on, be it cricket or golf or Welsh Open, snooker, whatever you're into. You have plenty of time to check it out in between moves here, because there's an awful lot of stuff happening out around the middle of the field. That is, well, it's just tippy-tappy football, and Tyrone are doing a lot of it because they're the one playing into the elements, and they'll say to themselves, I don't know, what would you think, Barry? 4 or 5 points? What's your ideal target for Tyrone to be happy going in at half-time?
Yeah, look, I would say they'll probably try and keep it as low as possible. They'll try maybe create a goal opportunity like this one.
Coming in along the end line, should be a free in at it. Strong running, straight at Owen Kelly, penalised, and so a free into Tyrone, and you can bet your bottom dollar they'll take every last one. Galway 1 is the score here in Tuam Stadium, and you're definitely looking at another game where 10 points might well be a winning tally. That certainly has to be the target for Pádraig Joyce's men. Jack Glynn, he's had a busy time, hasn't he? Hand passes the ball down along the line, nobody even looking at it, and in the end Niall Sludden, more by accident than design, ran and picked the ball up, but he's lost it to Ian Burke, who's in turn lost it to Sludden, who's won it back. He goes to ground, fires it under the legs of Peter Cook, and somehow gets it to Peter Hart, who burrows out of defence and gets the ball off nicely to Con Kilpatrick. So Tyrone somehow have got themselves out of a right hole there. Niall Morgan is happy to come out from goals. He's wearing a yellow jersey with his red togs to distinguish himself from his outfield colleagues, and he's not afraid to run into the Galway half if need be as well. Doesn't need to on this occasion. It's McCurry plays the ball in reverse out towards Conor Myler. Myler looking for support, toe to hand. He's right on the sideline on the scoreboard side of Tuam Stadium in front of a terrace that's holding, I'd say, the guts of 1,000 people. Stand is well packed, nice crowd behind the town goal, and the terrace is full as well. So I reckon you're probably somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 in Tuam. Here's a shot from distance that's going to drop in around the house, come off the upright and out to the right hand side and wide. In fact, no, the umpire says play on. It hasn't gone wide. So that shot that came in from Pádraig Hampsey was curling from right to left, hit the left hand upright, went right along the inline but didn't go wide. So Galway have recycled it and now worked it into their own 45, where Matthew Tierney has played it off towards Killian McDade to Peter Cook. He'll try and find a man inside, and that's next to impossible because there's so many Tyrone players back there. And in the end, Peter Cook has the ball taken off him, and Tyrone have won it back. This is all going perfectly to plan, and Galway are not really offering a whole pile. And in fairness to Peter Cook, when he looks up there, it's just a forest of white jerseys.
Yeah, Galway might need to look at, unusually Paul Conroy is spending a huge amount of his time actually at full back, and when we're breaking out, he's behind the ball, which is fair enough because he does have to chase his man back, but they might get someone else to chase Brian Kennedy back there, because we don't want Paul Conroy operating about the half back line when we need someone creating around the middle of the pitch.
Big cheer from the Galway crew there, because Daniel O'Flaherty has won a free for forcing Niall Sludden to overplay the ball on the ground. Galway get on with it. McDade has got a runner in Sean Kelly. No surprises there. Kelly bottled up though, gives it off to Patrick Kelly. Lovely ball inside. Chance for McDade. He's inside. Is that a foul? Surely. Almost a penalty, but just a yard outside the box. It'll be a free into Galway. A tap over point. But again, great vision. And it's that McDade Kelly axis that we've seen throughout the league. They're clearly working on this in training. On this occasion, it was Kelly to McDade rather than the reverse, which led to a goal in Castlebar. And he wasn't a million miles away from getting in on goal there. The Tyrone man had to foul him at the concession of a free. I think Tyrone will probably take that, because that could just have easily been a goal. It'll be a tap over point for Paul Conroy. He's going to take this one off the hands. The referee is saying, get on with it. I know there's a Galway player getting some attention down in front of us here. That's Daniel O'Flaherty. He's okay. Did well, Flaherty. In fact, he won the free that led to this point. Galway lead 2 points to 1, but just for a fleeting moment, Barry, a goal chance.
Yeah, well, Sean Kelly and Killian McDade highlight what you need to do when teams are dropping back and 14 behind the ball. They inject pace into. We saw that against Mayo and in the first round of the league, what Killian McDade and Sean Kelly do, and we've seen it today on a couple of occasions. Try and break that first line of the attack, get a runner off the shoulder who can then break the second line of the attack, then you can create score chances.
Tyrone get away with the short kick out. Galway lead 2 points to 1. The Galway subs come up into the stand. So they'll be pretty happy with that too. Nice to get a little bit of respite from the cold and the wind and the rain. Just a horrible afternoon for a game. As Galway, of course, next week will be making the trip to Letterkenny. That's an early start, 12:30. So I'd say most of the Galway supporters, the Galway team definitely going up on the Saturday night, but a lot of the Galway mentors and a lot of the Galway supporters will be heading up, I'd say, to make a night of it in Donegal. We haven't fully committed yet, Barry. We'll wait and see how far the budget will stretch for next weekend. I'm sure there's an ibis or something up around there. Is there, Bar? We'll find something. Niall Morgan is tapping the ball to hand for the last 30 seconds, by the way. There's absolutely nothing happening. And all this time, they're running down the clock. So we're halfway through the first half, 2-1 to Galway. That probably tells you everything about the type of conditions that are here today and the type of game that we're having to endure. But for Tyrone, they won't care. If they win this game 3-2, they'll be delighted, which is unfortunate, but that's just the nature of football. But there isn't a whole pile for the crowd to get too excited about. If you do want to go and leave the radio for a few moments and make yourself a cup of tea, put on a toasted sandwich, feel free to do so. You're not going to miss anything. Tyrone have the ball here in the middle of the field. And it's with Frank Burns up the right-hand side, looking for the run of Michael McKernan. The corner back is going to have a pop at the posts, and this one is out to the left-hand side and wide. But again, it'll use up a few more seconds. And I think I kind of remember listening back to the lads last night with Connacht and Zebre. Like, they kept making the point, the onus is on Connacht here to up the pace and up the ante, because it was playing into Zebre's hands all day long that it was a really slow pace. But how do you do that, Barry, if you're Galway?
Yeah, again, I think I hear Cian O'Neill and Pádraig Joyce, when they're defending, they keep shouting squeeze, and Galway players are pushing, but I think they'll probably be looking for maybe a little more of an aggressive squeeze. It's a little bit too easy for the likes of Peter Hart and those at the moment just to dictate play, so they need to try and get a turnover, get energy from that, and then go at pace really, really strong.
The groan you hear as Paul Conroy ran out of patience and had a shot at the post from about 45 metres out off his left, which went well left and wide. So the wide count for Galway is now up to 3, and Tyrone the same. So 3 wides apiece, which is double the amount of scores we've had. 2 points to 1, Galway lead. 20 minutes on the clock. Another stoppage as Tyrone cleverly decide to just halt the play. Physio's in there having a look at one of the Tyrone defenders. Brendan Cawley jogs out, and Niall Morgan will restart play in the next couple of moments. Of course, a couple of other league games on as well this afternoon in Division 1 that we'll be telling you about in a few moments. At the moment, Roscommon are at home to Armagh. They're at the exact same point in the game as we are. Armagh leading their 4 points to 3. So a little bit more scores in Hyde Park. Great catch in the middle of the field. Killian McDade gets it forward. Nice ball to Johnny Heaney. Off to Cook. Plays it off the right. Up and over the bar. That's much better. A kind of a buzz went through the crowd as soon as we won the ball in the middle of the field with McDade and transferred it. There was a sense that Galway had enough players moving forward for something to happen here. And Cook barely stroked that ball from 40 metres over the bar. Much better. 3-1. Now the next few minutes could be really important, Barry.
Yeah, well, that's, you're using these that's why they're squeezing kickouts, because they're trying to force Niall Morgan or whatever the opposition keeper is to go long, because if you win primary possession, it's not as crowded back defensively. Then it allows you to get the opportunity to get the shots off, whereas if you're getting your turnovers back at the 45, it's a long way to the opposition goal.
There's no doubt things have changed for Galway here now. They have definitely clicked a switch into gear, and not before time. Sean Kelly now, after Galway won another kick out. Back it goes towards Johnny Heaney, looking for support. He's forced backwards to John Daly, but that's not a bad thing as they hold possession. Daly back to Heaney. Can he take on his man? Has to fire it back. A dodgy looking hand pass, but Daly does well to recycle possession towards the waiting arms of Owen Kelly. All we can hear is squeeze, and they're not shouting for orange juice, I can tell you that, as John Daly again runs into a position to offer himself up as support. Hand pass blocked by Patrick Kelly. And in the end, it's just sheer weight in numbers. And Galway just not quite direct enough. It was all a bit too safe, a bit too keep bally. And now Tyrone can turn it over. And Galway are caught a little bit on the counter-attack here. Derek Canavan. Outside him, he's got Conor Myler. Myler just lets the ball drop to the ground before he picks it up. Hand passes it lazily inside. Off the left, a chance for McShane. McShane has got a man on his shoulder. That's Canavan, and his effort is disappointingly out to the left-hand side and wide. So in fairness, it might be scrambled defence, but Galway just about put enough pressure on there to force Tyrone into the wide. But a lot of good stuff from Galway, and then it just got bogged down with a bit of reverse hand passing. A little bit too safe, perhaps I was describing it as, but in fairness to Galway, at least they have upped it a little bit, but it scores on the board they need between now and half-time. And we're 13 minutes away from that. Armagh on 5-3 up on Roscommon here in Tuam Stadium. Galway lead by 3 points to 1 in a very low scoring affair. Monaghan Donegal level at 5 points apiece. That's the other game in Division 1. Long ball from Sean Kelly in towards Owen Finnerty. He's just not getting any service, is he, Barry?
Nah, he's shown well, but just it is difficult to try and pinpoint. We haven't really seen John Daly now. He did pick up a fair knock, and he doesn't look like he's running as freely as we normally see him running. So he hasn't got the opportunity to try and find Owen Finnerty inside on any occasion, and that's what Owen Finnerty needs. His movement is good. Same with Ian Burke.
Quick free taken by Tyrone as I break away from you, Barry, but in the end it was a little bit rash. Mentioning rash, Conor Gleeson got away with one there as he decided to go back to his Galway United days and play a little bit of ground soccer. Gets the ball out to Daniel O'Flaherty though, and Galway come away with the ball. A blatant foul on Flaherty, and that's really a borderline yellow card on Con Kilpatrick, who made no attempt to play the ball at all. But 3-1 it remains, Galway leading. Ian Burke looking up, and really he should be in there himself, offering himself up as an option. Cian O'Neill is shouting as well. Frustrating afternoon, but this is well kickable for Paul Conroy. He's 50 metres out, maybe 52, and really if he gets this on target all day long, he's got the distance. Conroy off the right, gets it up there. Has he got enough curl on it? It's up and over the bar. I mean, that was a no-brainer, and all he had to do was get the distance, and Conroy is a fabulous kicker.
Yeah, he's a beautiful striker of the ball, head down. It reminds me a little bit of Paul Clancy, albeit on a different foot. Same kind of a style of kicking the ball, accurate, and one of the main leaders in the Galway team. They're now 3 points up, as you said. The last couple of minutes, the last 15 minutes are going to be really, really important to try and get 4 or 5 points ahead. Because if you can learn anything from Tyrone, it's really, really difficult to score down that side of the pitch. So Galway need to be well up at half time.
Yeah, they've got the kick out as well. Nice breaking ball, working out for Cook into Finnerty. Needs to get rid of it, and is in the end bottled up. Back out to Ian Burke. Should be a score. Ian Burke off the right, kicks it up and out to the left and wide. Just snatched at it. I think originally, if you go back, and there's a big difference between club and county, Old Finnerty might have get away with the hop and the solo in playing for Mount Balliol Moyloch, but here you just have to look at the post, pull the trigger. I felt the chance was there for him for a split second. As soon as he put the boot to hand and tried to solo the ball, that chance went, and Ian Burke, his effort went wide, but Galway won another kick out. Daniel Flaherty coming on to support Johnny Heaney. Back it goes to Sean Kelly. Took it off Ian Burke. He still has Ian behind him. That's surely a free. Galway need to take the free. Terrible tackle from Cormac Quinn. I don't know why he's given out about. In fact, the referee could nearly bring this in. Ian Burke needs to bring this into where the free should be taken from, and it's a gimme for Paul Conroy to get the distance. Scan Concannon is offering a little bit of advice to the linesman as to where it should be taken from, but I think Conroy knows himself. So he's a good 5 yards closer than the one he's kicked 2 minutes ago. It's practically the same distance. There's no way the Tyrone man is 13 metres back. Conroy's trying to point that out to the linesman. The referee's doing his job. He should nearly bring it in a bit closer. But here's Conroy with the kick off the right. Does he get the curl on it? It's just to the right and wide. The wind is definitely pushing the ball out to that right-hand post. We saw that with Matthew Tierney, and that was just a slightly more acute angle because he was that bit closer, and it just grabbed it at the end. But it is a miss. 4-1 it remains. But I think if Galway can get to 6, even Barry, by half-time, it's not a bad target.
No, not at all, particularly if you keep Tyrone to 1-2 points. 4 or 5 points up, Galway would be able to come up with something at half-time to try and hold out and get a couple of scores of their own. But the importance of the kick-outs is telling everyone that Galway are winning, they're able to build an attack.
That's 6 in a row now, Barry, by the way, in kick-outs that Galway have won. Conroy, the latest one. And now he takes the return pass. Needs to get rid of it, a lot of steps. Got a free, though. Ooh, lucky one for Galway, I think. He definitely had taken 4 or 5 into the tackle, but was then pulled back. One of those borderline ones. It's got to Galway, and this should be Matthew Tierney off the mark with the chance of a point from inside the D. But again, you just have to say, Galway's ability to win the Tyrone kick-out has been pivotal in this turnaround as Tierney strokes it up and over the bar. No mistake from the Uachtarard man, and Galway go 5-1 up. God, it's an arm wrestle, Barry, but bit by bit, I'm thinking of Al Pacino in Game of Sundays. It's a game of inches.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is, particularly when you're looking at trying to catch a ball over Brian Kennedy, who is about, well, he's 6 foot 6 inches of it, and Paul Conroy grabbed it over him and, then won the free, and it just goes to show you the influence he has. But again, if you're looking for a learning point at half-time, it has to be a free to Galway. At half-time, Galway are going to have to talk about their own kick-out and the importance of winning that one against the wind.
Great work by Killian McDade to give it off to Sean Kelly. Galway sense the importance of the next few minutes to finish this half. Oh, lovely reverse ball into Flaherty. Didn't go for it though. The pass back from Ian Burke was a little bit of a hospital ball, but even still, Daniel Flaherty didn't wholly commit. I suppose if he did, he'd have been in a bit of trouble. He'd have got milled, in other words. But that's a pity because Galway were really working that ball into a scoreable position there and just overplayed it. Peter Hart now recognises it's time to go down injured and kill a few seconds on the clock. 28 gone, 7 to go. Still, I wouldn't panic if I was Porrick Joyce. 5-1. Not quite par, but another point might just about be where they need to be. We said 5 points, but it doesn't matter even if you're a couple of points up. Having a lead to defend, I think, is the big thing, is it, Barry?
Yeah, certainly, and getting the opportunity at half-time to address concerns that you will have playing against the wind and learning from the team that have done that in the first half. I know better management teams try and do that, and hopefully we'll have the players on the pitch to try and implement it.
John Daly pinged for a foul on Peter Hart, free to Tyrone. Hart turns around and kicks it back to his goalkeeper. And Niall Morgan will go for a little walk, just soloing the ball on the spot, waiting for a Galway man to come near him. Nobody's decided they will. Utter stalemate. And Yeah, you kind of wonder in instances like this about the rules of GAA and what can be done to turn it into a bit more of a spectacle. But it's up to Galway to put the squeeze on and try and force Tyrone into moving the ball forward. It's still with Niall Morgan. 60 seconds later, he's on his own 45, and now he'll go for a little ramble. Right-footed, sprays it across the far side of the field, looking for Peter Hart. Finds him. Hart coming up the left-hand touchline into the Galway half. Pops it off towards Darren McCurry. Inside, flicks it towards Cathal McShane. McShane gives it back to Cormac Quinn. Quinn is coming in off the right-hand side, pops it up and over the bar. It's a great score. Patient build-up play from Tyrone. Remember, I was talking about Niall Morgan. He held the ball for longer than any player in that move. But in the end, no Galway player got a touch. 5 pairs of hands. Peter Hart, Darren McCurry, Cathal McShane, and eventually Cormac Quinn. And it was a classic counter-attacking point.
Yeah, it was. And you come to these games, you obviously supporting your own team, but you want to look at the top quality footballers in the country. And Peter Hart, you know, has been for the last 10 years one of the top footballers, not only in Tyrone but in Ireland. And he's very much orchestrating things back there for Tyrone at centre half back.
Here's Daniel O'Flaherty coming in along the left touchline off to Peter Cook. Is this a punch point effort for Cook? Oh, he's left it short into the goalkeeper's hands. A cardinal sin, and Galway could get punished here, because Niall Morgan has caught the punch point effort from Peter Cook under his crossbar and has given it off to Con Kilpatrick. Kilpatrick has ran right up the centre of the field, gives it off to McCurry, in turn to Canavan. Canavan has got support on his shoulder in Niall Devlin. Devlin flicks it across the far side, looking for the run of Conor Myler. In turn back to Canavan. Dara Canavan slows it right down, plays it across towards Darren McCurry. 5-2, Galway lead by 3 points. Coming up to half time, we've got about 4 minutes plus stoppages. Johnny Heaney trying to put a bit of pressure on Michael McKernan, but the Tyrone man is patient, holds onto the ball, turns around and gives it back towards Darren McCurry, who sprays a beautiful pass with his left boot to Frank Burns. Burns round the corner looking for a little bit of support from Niall Sludden. In turn, Sludden can play it across the line for Peter Hart. And eventually the ball goes all the way back to Niall Morgan. Porrick Joyce urging the Galway team to just come out from their shell and put a bit of a squeeze on here. But Niall Morgan has other thoughts, and he's right up to the Galway 45. Then lays off the hand pass to Derek Canavan and has a little trot back. Eventually the ball works its way back to Niall Morgan. And Tyrone keep running the clock down. 32 minutes gone now. They'll take 5-2 all day long, Tyrone. They feel that 3 points is ahead of par. They're probably right. It's the fullback, Cormac Munro, back to Niall Morgan. Groans around the crowd because it's pretty obvious what Tyrone are doing. They're just killing the clock, Barry, and it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's in a situation like that, you need to gamble and maybe one of your cornerbacks who's marking someone that mightn't be a danger push, because it's guaranteed if Owen Finnerty goes to Niall Morgan, then he just hand passes it over his head. Owen Finnerty's out of the game, so you need to get a full 15 squeeze rather than the 2 forwards, you know, being taken out of the game by one hand pass.
Yeah, and that probably needs a predetermined call by somebody on the pitch to make that happen. But right now Galway are set in their defensive line and they ain't moving. 14 Galway players inside their own half, inside their own 45, as they try and stop Tyrone from getting another score before half time. If Tyrone are to get another point to make it 5-3, they definitely go favourites. Strong breeze in Tuam Stadium to come with the red hand men in the second half. Nice hand pass from Michael McKiernan, and it goes towards McShane, across to Canavan, back out to McShane. Is he going to have a pop? He's not. Goes for the hand pass back to the middle of the field to Hampsey, the captain. Hampsey across to Burns. Burns thinking about a shot, decides to keep the ball. Tyrone are going to just recycle this one in a circle all the way back outside the 45. Con Kilpatrick will now go to the opposite side to Peter Hart, and he'll have a probe at the Galway defence from outside the 45. Jinks inside, might try and win a free. Still goes outside of the left. Hart screws it off to the left and wide. Good chance for him. Did everything right. Jinked inside the Galway tackle, but in the end, another 2 minutes of Tyrone holding possession, and in the end, bar the shot from Peter Hart, it would have been the perfect score.
Yeah, it certainly would. They showed great patience, something Galway are going to have to do in the second half. And unusually for Peter Hart, we've seen him over the years with the outside of that left boot, able to get them over. But again, as you said, the wind has just drawn the ball over to that scoreboard side of the pitch, at the terrace side of the pitch here in Tuam. But you have to say he's having a huge influence on the game, as is Con Kilpatrick. He's getting on a lot of ball, he's tackling hard, and he's really always the outlet for Tyrone when they're coming out.
Dylan McHugh, back to Matthew Tierney, just trying to get it onto the left. He has managed to do so. Tierney up and over the bar. Good score. Good work from Galway, in fairness. Important score. Matthew Tierney took a few steps to get into position, Barry, but we're not counting. And it makes it 6-2. That was a really important score.
Yeah, again, he kind of eyed up his man and he took him on with pace, and that's just what they're going to have to do with the wind and against the wind. Try and beat the first player. He did that, albeit with a fair few steps, but a really good score. And as I said, gets us 4 up, and we probably would take that now.
8 points to 6. Armagh lead Roscommon. They're in first half stoppage time. 2 minutes to be added on here in Tuam. We've started that as McShane plays a beautiful ball into the centre to Sludden, to Hampsey. Tyrone driving forward, looking to try and get the last score of the half. Off to McCurry. McCurry off the left, up and over the bar. It's a beautiful strike. Darren McCurry. Suddenly the scores are starting to flow. 6-3. Good response from Tyrone.
Really good response, and McCurry's an excellent footballer, but you have to say Pádraig Hampsey took the right option. Probably was on for him to have a pop, but he saw the shooter outside him, gave the right pass, and McCurry finished really, really well. And notably from the other side of the pitch, we've seen an awful lot of Tyrone's wides from the stand side of Tuam Stadium. So again, a learning for Galway for the second half.
Quick kick out from Conor Gleeson has worked its way up to Matthew Tierney, and in turn to Paul Conroy, to Killian McDade. Hand pass across to Jack Glynn off the right. Jack strokes it over the bar. Well, good man, Jack Glynn. What? With nonchalant ease. What are you winking at, you old clear Galway man, you? Are you teaching all the young lads, all the cornerbacks, how to kick points from 40 yards like that?
And the pace as well that Jack Glynn has. But fair play to him. Great pass by Killian McDade and a lovely way to finish the half.
It was a brilliant point from Jack Glynn. It ended up being the last kick of the half. So Galway lead by 7 points to 3 going in at half time. Oh, I don't know. It's just about on par. It's the kind of game that has draw written all over it as well. It's going to be tight, you would think, to the finish. We're still watching them play in Hyde Park, where Armagh lead Roscommon 8 points to 6. We'll check in on the Monaghan game in a moment, where at the moment that's quite tight as well. Donegal 7-6 up. So everywhere you go, it's all points. Conditions are similar right throughout the country. Does that beg the question, Barry, if there is a goal, it will probably be a match winner?
Yeah, it certainly will. Now it looks...
Opens up for him right in the middle of the pitch, so he goes right up to the Galway 45. McKernan thought about going for a shot from outside the 45, but then thought the better of it. Goes back to Peter Hart, and we're back into a familiar pattern again of Tyrone going from side to side. Niall Morgan offering himself up as an extra man. He's on the Galway 45, goes for a long right-footed ball into the edge of the square, and in the end the ball flicked out wide, and Con Kilpatrick having a little coming together with Peter Cook. I think poor old Dylan McHugh came in between them and ended up the meat in the sandwich there, Barry. I shouldn't be laughing because Dylan is down, but he wasn't anything to do with it. But I think the long ball kicked in by Niall Morgan towards Con Kilpatrick, and you spoke about this, Barry, in the first half. He drops into full forward as soon as the ball is out around the middle of the field to give them that target man option. He got a little fingertip to it, but couldn't stop it from going wide. And as they came out, Peter Cook and Kilpatrick had it coming together. Dylan McHugh ran between them, and I think he just got a kind of a stray slap that wasn't really intended for him at all, but he's down now getting attention, and Dylan could be in a bit of bother. Now the problem here is that the referees got in to find out what exactly went on there, and you're either going to have Kilpatrick or Cook or both who are going to be in bother, and you could be looking at double yellow here, or maybe more. But he's definitely having a chat with the two of them, and he's just said, okay, let's get on with it, lads. The immortal words, cop on, issued by Cawley, and that'll be that. Dylan McHugh is up and about, but yeah, maybe he's been a bit cuter than I'm giving him credit for as well, because Tyrone wasted plenty of time in the first half as well, Barry. I'd imagine Galway will try and kill the clock as best they can.
Yeah, certainly, and this is a real test for Galway now. First kick out, Tyrone have put a squeeze on, so it'll be interesting to see how Galway get on.
That's a great ball from Conor Gleeson. That was well rehearsed. You could see Peter Cook pointed to the sideline. And then, what a blunder. Peter Cook stopped to take the mark. Then he took a step forward, so that meant he had to play on. And when he stopped with the ball, he was pinged for over-carrying. So it's a bit of a mistake, to say the least. Tyrone turned around. Oh, what a snapshot this is. Cathal McShane. What a score. Didn't even look. Caught, turned and kicked all in one movement. That's quality. That's Clifford-like.
Yeah, he's an exceptional footballer, but it was a lovely ball in by Darren McCurry, and it's those ones, you can kind of live with guys getting really good scores, but it's the ones where you give silly turnovers, they're the ones that really kill momentum and really frustrate management. But again, as I said, Tyrone putting a squeeze on the kick out. Conor Gleeson did excellent the last one. We're hoping he does the same with this one.
It goes the opposite side. This time it's for Patrick Kelly. Gets a good touchdown, but it's Tyrone who pick up the break. Conor Myler. Lovely little flick ball back towards Brian Kennedy. Driving forward, Kennedy to Sludden, free in. 7-4 will become 7-5 very quickly. And that all came from just a breaking ball. And the difficulty with those kickouts into the breeze, yellow card being issued to Owen Kelly for the foul on Sludden, is you really have to swamp that area where the ball is dropping, Barry. You need numbers.
Yeah, you go back to Kevin Walsh's old style where you really just flood one side of the pitch and make sure that you're winning those breaks. And, we have an advantage in fairness to Patrick Kelly. He's a big guy. He's good under dropping ball, but we need to get bodies in around there. Now, I felt that was a slightly harsh free and a very harsh yellow card. I think it was Sludden kind of nearly fell into Owen Kelly at that stage. But again, we saw it in the first half where we won kickouts. We were able to break at pace. When Tyrone win those kickouts, we need to try and stop them at source.
Yeah, Galway need to come up with a plan here to keep Tyrone guessing and to get an odd short one away. Tyrone got plenty of short ones away in the first half, but Galway are struggling. Conor Gleeson goes down the middle. That's better to Sean Kelly. That's all you need to do. Just get it into possession, and that straight away opens up an overlap gap. Now into the game for Galway. First touch for Johnny McGrath. Carla Strand, man. Just mauled to the ground by Kilpatrick, who's certainly making a name for himself amongst the Galway supporters in this first half, with a hand pass from Killian McDade to Paul Conroy has been picked off, and Tyrone turn it over. Mistake from Galway, unforced error. After Johnny McGrath was fouled, Galway really should have held on to the ball. It's a couple of mistakes from Galway now that have put a bit of pressure on themselves, Barry.
Yeah, and they're the ones that they'll definitely have addressed that at half time in terms of protecting the ball as much as possible, because, and we said it last weekend and it's been said numerous occasions, at this level, when you turn the ball over, you're nearly guaranteed at some stage down the line it's a scoring opportunity, because teams are so good and so comfortable minding the ball themselves now that it's just so important to hold on to it and be careful with it as much as you can.
Well, conceding 2 early points at the start of the second half to Tyrone may not have been part of the Galway master plan, but that's what's happened. And Tyrone are coming again, looking for another point. Chance for Burns, beautiful spin. Has got a chance off the right, gives it to Canavan, gets it high, but out to the left and wide. That's a chance. 7-5 it remains. Next score is pivotal because it will either give Galway a 3-point buffer or it will really have pressure coming on them from Tyrone, who've managed to have the 4-point interval deficit within the opening 4 minutes of the second half, so they'll be pretty satisfied with that. Roscommon have gone in front at home to Armagh, 9-8. So the Rossies going great guns early on in the National League. 2 wins from 2. Remember, a win today, they'll be top of the table with a maximum 6. Here, it's Tyrone attacking the town goal with the wind at their backs in the second half and with all the advantage coming forward. A chance now for McKernan. Off the right hand side, flicks it off towards Hampsey, who's fouled. No, he's not. Play on. Great scramble defence. And a combination of Johnny McGrath and Peter Cook come away with the ball. Great work at the back.
Yeah, I think it was Owen Kelly that got the last touch just to take it off the foot of Hampsey. It was a brilliant tackle, but great credit to Peter Cook as well. He tracked his man all day, but again, Tyrone just trying to get runners in past that Galway defence.
Galway now with Ian Burke have the ball up to halfway. Making a dart from the back is his Currafin clubmate Dylan McHugh, who solos the ball but gets away with it, gives it back to Burke. Is he going to go for a shot? Oh, it's going to drop short into the goalkeeper's hands. never really on that one, as Niall Morgan goes for an absolute 60-yard bomb off the hands, and he's found Peter Hart, who's found Niall Sludden on the Galway 45. 2 kicks of the ball up to McShane. This is a chance to Sludden, 2-on-1 goal chance. Oh, he's absolutely butchered it. He's flicked it out towards Canavan when he just needed to hold onto the ball. Tyrone keep it alive at the corner flag. Back out it comes to Peter Hart. Swings the left boot at it. Out to the right and wide. Poor miss. Oh, Sludden just stayed on his feet. What was he thinking? It was 2-on-1 and a great goal chance for Tyrone. Galway's goal leading a charmed existence. But again, I hate harping on about it, Barry, but when you drop a ball short into a goalkeeper's hands, that's the price you pay at inter-county level.
Yeah, and Niall Morgan is a really good kicker of the ball. Great pass to Peter Hart, great vision, switched the point to the attack. Tyrone play a funny enough formation. They actually don't play a deep line, full forward line. They're trying to get everything played around somewhere between the 45 and the 21 that allows guys get past the defensive line and create goal scoring opportunities, and that's what they did there. But as you said, it was butchered, but just something we need to be careful of.
So there's a kick out from Galway that's gone out over the sideline just outside the 45. Tyrone get the ball back. All Tyrone in the second half so far, and they drive on again with Frank Burns. Gets it off towards McCurry. Thought about pulling the trigger. Does, off the right. What a strike this is. McCurry. Oh, it's a beautiful point. Absolute class. Went to shoot off the left, dummy solo, and then kicked off the right. Shane Welsh-like in its execution, but that's pure class.
Yeah, and he got a great score in the first half as well, and he can do that if you give him the opportunity to pull the trigger. He's extremely accurate, and he's a huge part of the Tyrone game plan. But again, you can see it, they're just not playing too many bodies in the full forward line, trying to get a couple of little passes around the 45, and no better forward than Darren McCurry to get the score. But we just need to be really careful on our kickouts.
Yeah, and as you speak, another kick out from Conor Gleeson has gone out over the sideline on the far side. They're definitely trying to avoid kicking it straight down the middle, where Tyrone are just starting to dominate. And I wouldn't mind, but towards the end of that first half, Galway were winning kickouts at their ease. It's all changed. A lot of that is down to the conditions. So Galway are going very close to the sideline to try and avoid the Tyrone press. And that sometimes brings into play the chance that the ball could skid out over the sideline if it's not pinpoint accurate. Tyrone have got possession up to the Galway 45 with Michael McKernan. Gives it back towards Frank Burns. Remember, Tyrone trail by 1, 7-6 to Galway. Lovely ball to the inside line to McShane. Beautiful hand pass. Here's a chance for Canavan. Oh, he's dropped it. Still going though. Canavan off the right. Fly kicks it up, and Fly kicks it to the right and wide. If he had held the ball from a very quick transfer from Cathal McShane, he was in on goal. Barry Cullinan, you made this point before half-time that if there was going to be a goal, Tyrone were the most likely scorer. Why do you continue to say that?
Yeah, well, they're just they're continuously just getting runners off the shoulder, and whether it's Sludden or whoever it is in the full forward line, he's just able to pop passes left to right. Now, there is an argument to be said that out over the sideline actually isn't the worst place to put the kickouts in this situation, because when you are getting caught on the break like that, if you're not able to win them around the middle of the pitch, at least if they're on the sideline, it gives you a chance to reset rather than getting caught on the break.
Well, there's no doubt that the tactic from Conor Gleeson is to keep the ball as wide as possible. But Galway have won their own kick out here, and it's up to Johnny Heaney, who's just inside the Tyrone 45, but decides to turn around and give it all the way back towards John Daly, who quickly transfers it back to Heaney, and the Killannon man now makes his way up towards the left-hand touchline. 7 points to 6, Galway lead. 8 minutes into the second half. Galway will be pretty happy with the fact they're still in front, but they need to get the next score one figures. Ian Burke, lovely ball to Conroy. Conroy off the right, he's got Burke outside him, doesn't use him, backs himself, and Conroy gets it up and over the bar. He needed to get it because he had Ian Burke on the shoulder for an easy tap over, but Conroy only had eyes for the posts himself, and with 11 and a half minutes gone in the second half, that's an important score to put Galway back 2 up.
Yeah, every score is going to be really important, but he just has that supreme confidence in his own kicking ability and backs himself, and that's an unusual trait in an awful lot of footballers, but he has done it for so long, he has every right to do it.
We're looking at the Oranmore Merryman in goals for Roscommon. 10-8, they lead against Armagh in the National League. The other match at the moment between Monaghan and Donegal is tight as well. 11-10. Donegal lead Monaghan by a point in Clonus. Here in Tuam Stadium, it's Galway 8 points, Tyrone 6. And we've 12 minutes gone in that second half. And it's Tyrone. After picking up the short kick out, I've worked it up to Cormac Munro. He's the fullback, up to the Galway 45. Takes a return pass from McCurry. Has a go for the post from the left, and it's over. Brilliant score. The fullback from Carrickmore, Cormac Munro. Of course, we shouldn't really get too excited about somebody from the full back line kicking a point. Jack Glynn did it in the first half, and I think in the way football is, you got to be able to play everywhere. The way the modern game is, you've goalkeepers scoring 4 or 5 points a game nowadays. But that's a fine score from Munro. But was that a little bit too easy, Barry?
A little bit too easy. As I said, they're trying to play it. I know I'm repeating myself, but they are trying to play it in a congested area around the 45. Galway just need to make sure that they're getting bodies close and tight and really squeezing that ball, because, you know, I can hear Cian O'Neill and Pádraig Joyce keep talking about that. You know, it's really, really important. But you have to give, again, Paul Conroy wins it around the middle of the pitch. He has given a lot of inches to Brian Kennedy, but it's just that experience, that physique and that know-how. You know, poor Brian Kennedy really can't compete at that level at this stage.
No, Conroy is key to Galway getting something out of this game. 8-7, Galway lead by 1. Dylan McHugh, after Conroy was fouled on the kick out, picks up the pieces from the free and back to Peter Cook. This is all happening between the 45 and the 65 at the Tyrone half of the pitch, which is the scoreboard end of Tuam Stadium. John Daly thinking about a killer pass to Patrick Kelly, who's drifted inside on his own. Matthew Tierney is in there as well, but Galway are elected to go backwards. It was a terrible kick pass that was brilliantly rescued by Cathal Sweeney. Hospital pass of the day, but somehow Sweeney managed to save the day. Conroy to Ian Burke. Cross to Patrick Kelly, and again a big groan from the crowd because he's turning around and going backwards. Peter Cook into the corner towards Ian Burke. In inside to Cathal Sweeney. Sweeney off the right, might go for this one. Has a drive at the post, it's over. Brilliant score. Just about had enough, it dropped on the roof of the net. But it's a great strike. Man down injured as well after that play. Ian Burke seemed to think there was something untoward, but I don't think there was anything too major there. But brilliant score. Tyrone make a switch. But Galway, if they can keep answering Tyrone like that in the last instance, that will be a key moment. But a brilliant score. Tyrone make the change. They've taken off Niall Devlin. They're bringing on Joe Oguz. Did I get that right? One of the Oguzes from Tyrone. Double substitution. I think it's Sludden that's coming off as well. No, coming over to the sideline there is Frank Burns. He just wants some water. It's just one change. Burns is hydrating. So there's the change there. Sweeney with the point. Great score.
Yeah, and you think about the pass he received from Jack Glynn. He won that, continued it, and again just injected that pace. Had the confidence to really take on his opposition player. That was a brilliant kick into that wind. Great score.
So obviously Jack Glynn is on Barry's fantasy football team. He's giving him the point and the assist. Meanwhile, at the other end, Tyrone have kicked a long ball into McShane, who's just taken a mark out in front of Owen Kelly, and this will be a tap over point. He's on the 20-metre line. Great catch from a player who's having a big influence in this second half. Familiar pattern, Barry, point for point. Galway won't mind if they can get the next one, but it's back to 9-8 again. Galway lead by 1.
Yeah, and to be fair, the second half is much improved. A lot more attacking football, a lot more kicking by both teams, and that's really, really important as well for the crowd, because I think they were getting a little bit frustrated at half time. But Galway, how many times have we seen these games where they're getting close, but the team that's trying to catch is always finding that little bit difficult to get level and get in front, and that's what Galway will just need to keep answering.
Great catch from Matthew Tierney from the kick out by Conor Gleeson. That's a clean mark and one that Galway needed. So can they answer again? John Daly thinks so. Goes for a beautiful kick pass to Paul Conroy. Could have taken the mark, but decides to play on. Wrestled off the ball, Johnny Heaney, but that won't matter. Ian Burke has got the ball over the top. Burke off the right, should be a punch point. Ian Burke left-handed, puts it up and over the bar. Super score. Intelligent running from Ian Burke. He'll do that all day long, and took the right option at the end. Galway answer again. 10-8.
Yeah, whoever has Paul Conroy in their fantasy team, he gets the assist for that one. Brilliant hand pass over the top. Fair play to Ian Burke. Took the right option. But again, it comes back to winning primary possession in the middle of the pitch. Great take by Matthew Tierney.
Halfway through the second half then. Galway 10 points, Tyrone 8 in Tuam Stadium. Don't forget, if you want to follow the ladies football, it's live online at the moment. Galway taking on Cork. Cork scoring 2 quick goals just before half time to get the lead after Galway had dominated the opening 20 minutes. They've got 2 more goals since. Bizarre scoreline in Pearse Stadium. 4 goals and 2 points for Cork, 9 points for Galway. Well, we saw the damage that the goals did yesterday in the Fitzgibbon final against Galway by UL. It's a similar story now. So 4-2 to 9, mother of God. Full-time score, ATU Connemara 5-17. The Surgeons 1-10. Surgeons beaten, but they got out of there unscathed. They're happy enough. They'll be back at work. And Galway looking to try and recycle possession in the middle of the field with Paul Conroy. Lovely little chip ball into the corner, looking for Owen Kelly. Slipped. Gets back up and wins it. What's he doing up underneath the scoreboard? He's found his brother Sean. Oh, lovely touch from Sean Kelly. That's quality. To Johnny McGrath. Johnny, beautiful bit of play. This is great balance from the Cardiff Strand man. Off to Tierney. His confidence levels up. Back to Peter Cook. To Jack Glynn. Is he going to go for another one? Jack is up to the 20-metre line. Still going forward. Pulled to the ground. Jack Glynn is going to get another assist. God, he's got great pace, in fairness. Such intelligence, because he knew there was no point having a shot from outside the D. He had a right good run at his man, knowing, well, you either let him off or you pull him down. The Tyrone man chose the latter. And this is big, Barry, because this would put Galway 3 up. We're not putting it up just yet as a point, but it must be a 95% chance of getting it just outside the 13-metre line. 5 yards to the right of centre. For Matthew Tierney, this should be a gimme as he strokes it up and over the bar. 11-8. Again, there's a few players, not just Jack Glynn, that contributed in that move. Patient work from Galway. They kept the ball alive, kept recycling it, but the right man got it and did the right thing.
Yeah, you said he has brilliant pace, and he does, but he also really intelligent. So he picks the right opportunity to go. He gives the ball off when it's the right time. And there's a reason he's one of the top backs in the country. He has all the stuff. He's a really, really good defender. He's a guy that Galway will be building their defence around for the next 10 years.
Yeah, the Young Footballer of the Year. I had the pleasure of meeting Jack and his trophy in Garafrons before the Christmas. It's a ton weight, the Footballer of the Year trophy, but fully deserved after the brilliant season he had last year. McShane has got the ball for Tyrone, who now trail by 3. They've made great inroads to get back to within 1, but now they've found back-to-back points from Galway. Here's McCurry, ambitious. Oh, it's a beautiful score. Is it up and over? It's not. The umpire says wide. Now that was one for Hawkeye, I think, because the near umpire was just about to go for the flag, but it just tailed off at the end. Now here's a change. Rory Canavan comes in, and he replaces Niall Sludden. So we have 2 Canavans in that full forward line now. Imagine if you had Peter in between them. That'd be some forward unit. Here's Conor Gleeson now. Big kick out for him. He goes to the near side, which is in front of the dugouts, where, oh, it's another brilliant catch from Matthew Tierney. Bring it forward 20 metres. Wonderful work. In fairness to Gleeson, he picked his man and he got him. And Matthew Tierney with that mark has got it off to Dylan McHugh. Off it turned to Patrick Kelly. Gives it back to McHugh. He's inside, pulled to the ground, free in Galway. The lift that catch from Matthew Tierney has given the crowd. Gleeson pumps his fist as well. He knows that's a great one. When you get those kickouts to your right man, take the mark. God, it's just the value of a mark and a kickout now, Barry, compared to one time where you'd say to yourself, it's not that big a deal. But even the crowd recognise that it was as good as a score, Tierney winning that kick out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said in the first half, so Tyrone are putting a squeeze on. We win primary possession. The players that are taken out of the game by the kick out, they're not going to get behind the ball as quick, and that allowed Galway to get a scoring opportunity. So restarts are now such an important part of modern day Gaelic football. And when you have them, they're right in front of us here, Ollie. You've Matthew Tierney and Patrick Kelly. when you're kicking it down between those two fellas, we've a really good chance of winning primary possession. And in fairness to Matthew Tierney, you have to say he's had a really good game too.
Well, he's clocking up the points as well today, Matthew. He's about to kick another one from the 13-metre line after that foul as he taps it up and over the bar. Numero Cinco. I just made that up. Is that Spanish for 5? I think it is. 5 points for Matthew Tierney anyway. He's doing well. He's heading towards man of the match at the moment. Mentioning 5, Cormac Quinn, the Tyrone number 5, is having to be taken off because of injury, and he's replaced by Richard Donnelly. So Tyrone have made a third change. That one enforced, however. I think it's a hamstring job. Meanwhile, Roscommon have got a goal in the Hyde. They lead Armagh by 110 to 9 points. Galway really need to win this, or Michael Mullen is going to have a very lonely night tonight in the Hatch in Roscommon. The locals will be restless. Looks like they're going to be chalking up 3 wins from 3. Mayo going great guns. Jeez, we better keep up with them the way things are going at the moment. It's going to be some Connacht championship, I tell you that. Here, Galway lead 12-8. So Tyrone's 4-point half-time deficit is restored, and Galway have intercepted it again. John Daly will do very well to get away with that over-carrying, and in the end, the ball, I think, is the right decision. Just fly kicked out of trouble. Give it back to Tyrone, fair enough, but don't concede a free for over-carrying inside the D. Back it goes to Young Canavan. Should be a score. Curling high. It's over. No, it's wide. Johnny Higgins says it's wide. That's good enough for me. He's our Hawkeye. That was a great chance for Canavan, though, but it's 10 wides for Tyrone, and that was a poor miss. And a chance for Tyrone really gone a begging. But Galway putting the pressure on. There's no question the last 3 points to go from 9-8 to 12-8 have really affected this game. Conor Gleeson is really taking his time getting a ball back from the ball boy. And then he pretends he's making a big run out. Oh yeah, this is cuteness personified here. Of course, the referee can add all of this on at the end, but it's just adding to the clock and to the time. At the moment, we're on 24:20, so 11 minutes plus stoppages. Gleeson's kick out, oh my God, it's absolutely caught in the swirling wind and just goes past the 45. McShane wins it. Hand passes it out on this near side to Donnelly. Richard Donnelly off the left, drops it into the goalkeeper's hands. What a poor miss that is. Well gathered by Conor Gleeson. Off in turn towards Dylan McHugh, driving out from the back. McHugh gets away with it there, I think. Took a few steps into the challenge. Off to Patrick Kelly, he's fouled. Kelly is a big addition to Galway, Barry, and it's not just size, but he wins a lot of ball, and he's got a good head on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, and he has experience in playing the system that Pádraig Joyce wants to play last year. But you would certainly have to question Con Kilpatrick's tackling, and that Brian Dooher and Fergal Logan haven't addressed that. I'd say at this stage he's given away 5 or 6 frees, and all nailed on frees, and seems to get frustrated when he gives them away. But there's only one person to blame, and it's certainly not the ref.
Yeah, well, I don't know how he's not in a yellow card already. I'd say that'll be coming soon. But Paul Conroy's got the ball for Galway up to our right hand side, inside the Tyrone half of the field. Gets it back towards Owen Kelly. I don't think he's come back from the last time he was up there. He's just kind of stayed loitering with intent. Back it goes to Johnny McGrath. He's a tigerish bit of stuff. Not unlike Jack Glynn in his stature and the way he plays the game. Lovely pass from John Daly to Dylan McHugh. Lovely transfer to Conroy. Could have been done for over-carrying, but as he took it into the tackle, he turns around, spins it back to Sean Kelly. Kelly goes for a run. Another one for Galway, might seal it, you know. Kelly going straight through. Right-footed. Oh, what a score from Sean Kelly. Driving at the heart of the Tyrone defence. Beautiful recycled play. Galway have upped the ante big time here. They scored 7 points into the win. They've now got 6 in the second half. 13 points to 8. Conditions don't seem to mean much to Galway when they start making inroads into this Tyrone defence, as they have done in the last quarter. Peter Hart, now Tyrone under pressure. They're actually trailing by a point in the second half, scoring alone. And that's despite coming out of the blocks roaring with the first 3 scores. They're not done yet, though. Plenty of time for Tyrone. 9 minutes plus stoppages. Back to McCurry. Needs to get this, though. Drops it in around the house. Gleeson wins it. Good catch by Conor Gleeson. Off it goes to Sweeney again. I'm just drawn into the number of steps these guys take before eventually they play the ball. But it's great work by Cathal Sweeney, who's already got a point. Gets it up now towards Johnny Heaney. Lovely kick pass into McDade, who's in an advanced position. Lovely reverse ball to Tierney. He's got a man inside him. Oh, dummy from Tierney. He's got a free coming. Goes for the shot. It's a free pop at the post. It's up. It's over the bar from Matthew Tierney. He's got the half dozen, and he knew there was a free coming even if he didn't get it. 14 points to 8. This is a different Galway.
Absolutely, and you can see the Galway crowd, they're just looking for something to get behind. And, you know, they have the players, you know, they have the players' favourites. You know, when Jack Lynn does something, there's a crowd, there's a real buzz. But when Sean Kelly, Matthew Tierney's score was brilliant there, but when Sean Kelly goes and leads this team, everyone just wants to follow. That was a brilliant score. Like Jack Lynn, he spotted an opportunity, went down the heart of the Tyrone defence and kicked a great score. Matthew Tierney having a super game as well. And you have to say, Cillian McDade is trying to hold that full forward line nearly on his own at this stage, and he did excellently for that one as well. Picked up a heavy tackle, and I think it was Frank Burns that took a yellow for it. So, you know, brilliant second half by Galway, and you have to hand it to the Galway management. They've got a real kick out of the team in the second half.
5 in a row in the last 12 minutes from Galway. It's been spectacular. Tyrone have missed a couple, and now there's a free out for the classic third man tackle. Just took the Galway man out of it as he ran across and gave a little dunt along the way as well. A little reminder. And that's going to be another substitution for Tyrone. They're bringing in number 19, Matty Donnelly, and they're taking off Frank Burns, who got the yellow, so that makes a bit of sense from a Tyrone perspective. But they've really gone out of this game, and it's not that they haven't had chances, Barry, but their shooting has really let them down in the last quarter hour.
Yeah, they've had 10 wide, which isn't acceptable at this level in reality. But we say something has gone out of Tyrone today, but in fairness, you know, you have to hand it to Brian Dewar and Fergal Logan. A brilliant All-Ireland win. Something has gone out of Tyrone since then, and I think they will be extremely disappointed, and the Tyrone crowd that have made the journey down here, whatever the result is at this stage, will be really disappointed with the quality of play that they've produced, and the effort in this second half really has gone out of it, and there has to be question marks for Tyrone.
But still, let's flip it the other way, Barry. It's been great stuff from Galway, who are in big trouble at 9-8, and now it's 14-8. They really have churned out some great scores. Sean Kelly going forward again. Are they thinking about a goal? And it goes to Sweeney. Punches the point. Galway have now scored more into the wind than with it. And it's just been perfect counter-attacking football. We may have questioned the half-time substitutions. We know now exactly what McGrath, and in particular Sweeney, bring to this Galway team as they play this brand of football into the wind. 15 points to 8. Galway lead, pushing the back against Johnny McGrath. Free into Tyrone. The man down there looking to get on with the game quickly is Rory Canavan, but I think with the stopwatch at the moment really against Tyrone, they're going to have to think about maybe more than just a point. 5 minutes to go plus stoppages. Quick look at the Hyde, where Roscommon lead Armagh 111-11. Canavan off the right strikes a beautiful point. That's Tyrone's first score in an age. The last point that Tyrone got was way back in the 16th minute. So you're looking at 15 minutes that Tyrone have been outscored by 6 points to 0. That's put a halt to Galway's gallop for now. But those 6 scores from Galway, we hope at this stage we'll see them over the line. But that really was the winning and losing of the game. In that period of time as well, Tyrone had plenty of chances that went to begging. But that score makes it 15-9. Huge kick out from Gleeson all the way over. What a ball into Ian Burke. That's extraordinary drive from Gleeson, and in over the top. Niall Morgan is out of the goal, and the effort from Paul Conroy to do a Damien Comer and chip him from 60 yards went wide. A huge groan from the crowd. They thought that would be classic, and that would have been the perfect answer to the fly goalie chipping in over his head. We just missed it.
If that went in, he certainly would have taken the credit for it, but there was no doubt he was looking for Johnny Heaney on the other side of the pitch, and it nearly came off. But again, you know, Conor Gleeson, just with the length he can put on them kicks against a strong wind, takes the defence of the Tyrone, or the squeeze of the Tyrone out of it, and you'd wonder why he doesn't do it a little bit more often.
McCurry goes for a snapshot from out the field. That's disappointingly to the left and wide. There's going to be a lot of soul searching on the video analysis from Tyrone of this game, because even their regular go-to men like McCurry, McShane, Keane O'Neill has decided he's going to put on a little clinic here in front of the entire support of Tuam Stadium as he dictates that there's going to be a change here for Galway. Rob Finnerty's coming in. Good to see. We were thinking it'd be another fortnight before we'd see Rob back in action, but his powers of recovery. Another absolute monster of a kick from Conor Gleeson. That's won a free for Galway. He's landed that ball between the 45 and the 65 at the other end of the field, and he's kicking into a storm.
Absolutely, he just has a really, really strong, solid boot on him. And it's definitely something they've worked on, because you could see the last one, Paul Conroy came towards the keeper and then he went, because he knew it was going over his head. Peter Cook did it the same way. He tried to get a flick on it. It was a foul, but they'll be happy to win the free. That's as good as a score.
Free taken by Paul Conroy. That should be a foul, but play on as Cathal Sweeney keeps going. Outside of the right, ambitious, and it screws up and over the bar. Cathal Sweeney has hit a hat-trick of points. What an introduction. Lots of promise for this young Salthill Knocknacarra man, but this is definitely his best outing in a senior jersey.
Yeah, well, we saw what he did for Salthill Knocknacarra all year. No more than Daniel O'Flaherty, who was probably unlucky to come off at half time, but excellent footballer. Huge amount of potential to really drive on and be a really important player in the Galway panel.
4 minutes to go on the Hyde. Roscommon lead Armagh 111-11. Here in Tuam Stadium, Galway lead Tyrone by 16 points to 9. It's been a spectacular second half from Galway. 9 points added to their first half tally of 7. Meanwhile, the Galway ladies have launched a stirring comeback against Cork, who are still on 4 goals and 2 points. But now Galway have got 115 up the other end. Tyrone trying to win it, but in comes John Maher, the mighty man from Salthill Knocknacarra, off to Cillian McDaid, who took a really hard hit and is paying the price. And now across the far side, it's a chance for Tyrone to get a score, and it's belted over the bar by Richard Donnelly. And I think that could be the last we see of Cillian McDaid in this game. It was kind of all of his own making as he kind of drove into the Tyrone man, but ran into a brick wall. And McDaid now looks like he's going to have to come off. But Donnelly gets the point to make it 16-10. A look at the stopwatch tells us we're going into injury time. The board will be up in a few moments' time to tell us what's going to be added. I suspect you could be looking at 4 minutes with all the substitutions. Galway will be really worried about Cillian McDaid with all of the players that are out injured. Ironically, one of them, Rob Finnerty, is about to come back in, having missed the last couple of games. And he's going to come on for Cillian McDaid, and this looks a bit worrying, doesn't it, Barry? What do you make of this, the way he's walking off? Where do you think the injury is?
The only positive is that he's not holding his arm or his shoulder. It looks like it might have been a rib injury. He took a huge hit. I think it was the Tyrone full black. As you said, it was of his own making, but he wanted to get out of the tackle, so that's important. But great to see Rob Finnerty coming back. And if Galway were down, what are Galway winning by? They're winning by 6. If we were down 6, we will be talking about the players we're missing. It's a brilliant position for Pádraig Joyce to be in, to be winning these sort of games, getting this sort of confidence back in the team, and then realising that you have these players to come back that are only going to add to it. So all in all, brilliant afternoon for Galway as Niall Morgan takes an excellent mark.
Just think about that. That's the Tyrone goalkeeper who's come out and caught the Galway goalkeeper's kick out. It's like a national schools game. Tyrone have got a free in though, and off the ball pull. Galway need to be careful here. We're in injury time. A goal would make life really awkward for the closing seconds, and Conor Gleeson is roaring at his defenders to get back on the line because he knows well what's coming here, and that's a blast at the posts to try and get a goal. 16-10 Galway lead. Brendan Cawley's given a free from out. He was standing in the middle of the field, but he saw the foul inside. It's tapped over by McCurry. He gets the free. It's 16-11, and Galway just need to calm down now, take the sting out of it. John Maher is in, Rob Finnerty is in. Good to see as well a thumbs up from Cillian McDaid. He's okay. It's exactly as you said, Barry. He's pointed to the ribs. He got a bang. He's winded. That's the bottom line, if that's a technical term. Might ask the Royal College of Surgeon lads what the medical word is, but he's okay. McDaid will be fine, and he'll be heading to Letterkenny. Let's see how this kick-out works out. As Galway got caught on the break. Here it comes to Con Kilpatrick. Big chance for Tyrone now. They go for goal here. Hart blasts it up and over the bar. 16-12. I tell you, this could get awkward yet, Barry.
Yeah, look, they just need to be careful not to concede a goal. And again, that can happen, teams. You wouldn't hold that against anyone. You're 6 points up, you're gone into injury time. How often have we seen it? But it has happened Galway a couple of times last year, so they don't want to keep, they don't want to replicate that. But you have to say, or what I have seen is that, and we're only into the third league game. We all have to remember that this is probably the first time so far this year we have seen Galway with the confidence that we saw them last year against the Armaghs and against the Derrys, and as the year went on they got better and better. I think this is Galway, it could be a real turning point for this Galway team in this National League.
So the kick out from Conor Gleeson is long. It's fisted somewhat luckily into the path of Michael McKiernan. Suddenly, all the breaks are going to Tyrone. All the pressure is coming down on the town goal. The Ulster men are throwing caution to the wind. Why wouldn't they? This game was gone at 16-9. They've got 3 in a row. Can they make it 4? Opportunity as Sean Kelly throws a flailing arm. Ball across the square. And it goes over the heads of everybody and to the waiting arms of Johnny Heaney as Tyrone were queuing up to come in and almost like basketball style flick the ball to the net. Heaney pulled and dragged, is right in the corner. This is real trouble for Galway, who could do it winning a sideline ball, and they have done. Clever bit of play over there. Not quite sure who was the Galway player. I think it's John Daly, who just kicked it off a Tyrone man to win a sideline ball. Like, you just can't beat a bit of cuteness. It's as simple as that. That's just sheer class. Took the sting out of it. Now all the Tyrone lads have to go back 13 metres, and John can just bomb this up the line if he can towards Conroy. I don't think he'll be chancing this one going backwards towards Conor Gleeson. As long as you can put it, Johnny. Oh, it doesn't get a great connection. Straight to McShane. He's going to play this ball into the centre. Tyrone are going for goal here. They've got everybody going forward. Clever little ball through a gap from Brian Kennedy. It's an up and under old school from Kilpatrick. They're all in under it at the edge of the square, and the ball breaks out kindly for John Maher. Maher needs to get rid of it. Plays it short to his clubmate Rob Finnerty, up to Peter Cook, and now it's a counter-attack for Galway as everybody in Tuam Stadium urges Cook forward to try and get the ball into Ian Burke, but he kicks it straight to Michael McKiernan, and that's a free to Tyrone. All he needed to do was kick it over the top, and there was an acre of ground, but now Galway have to defend this again. We've played 5 minutes of stoppage time. What went on the board was 5. So this has to be the last attack. Surely Galway are home and hosed. Tyrone going for a point. Here's Hampsey, the captain, high, in around the house, over the bar. Great score from Hampsey. But have we time for another play? It's back to 3, 16-13. That should be that. Referee Cawley will probably give them one more play because we had a substitution. Did we in the injury time? I think we did. I think the Rob Finnerty one happened after the 70 minutes. Either way, is this the end? As Gleeson kicks it, it is! The full-time whistle goes. And Galway can celebrate. Pádraig Joyce makes a beeline for Brian Dooher, and Fergal Logan shakes hands with the disappointed Tyrone men. They left it too late, Tyrone, to make the burst. But it's a terrific win for Galway. 16 points to 13. The thoughts of Barry Cullinan?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant win. And Pádraig knows that he's done a brilliant job at Galway, brilliant here last year, and he knows that at times supporters can get a little bit irate and a little bit niggly in terms of performances. So he will have felt a little bit of pressure coming into this one, but he'll be absolutely delighted the way his players performed, each and every one of them. The first half, again, like the Roscommon game, was just cagey, no team really going for it. But when it opened up in the second half, it showed the ability that these Galway lads have. And the two pivotal moments in the middle of the pitch we saw towards the end, when we couldn't get our hands on a kick out, it allowed Tyrone come back into it and only leave 3 in it at the end. But the two pivotal moments in the second half were when Matthew Tierney caught the 2 kickouts. We got 2 scores from it. Brilliant performance by Matthew Tierney.